Hi, my name's Kaylee Early. I'm a 2010 graduate from Ashland University. While at Ashland, I studied early childhood education, graduating with a license to teach grades pre-K through 3. I also received a reading endorsement allowing me to teach reading grades K through 12. And while at Ashland, I also added on a generalist endorsement, which allowed me to teach grades 4 and 5. I'm currently a second grade teacher in the Worcester City School District, and I am in my third year of teaching.
And how well do you think AU has prepared you for your first teaching job here?
I think that Ashland University did an excellent job preparing me for my first job. One of the reasons is during the interview process, none of the questions surprised me. Everything that I had learned during my field experiences, during my student teaching, all the methods courses that I had taken, all those questions came up. I was able to give real life, concrete examples of different things that I did well at AU, and I know that that was one of the things that stood out. I had real life experience, real life working with children, and I was able to give those examples during an interview.
And what specific things are you doing in your classroom right now that you learned to do at AU?
Well, at Ashland University, some of the things that I'm currently doing in my classroom that I had learned, one would be assessments. During my time at Ashland, I was exposed to a variety of reading assessments, which helped me in my first year teaching especially. When coming in, each district uses something a little bit different, and because I had learned a variety of reading assessments, I was able to walk right on in, do my reading assessments. I was able to differentiate and group my students in leveled reading groups. I was able to use running records, and I was able to track my students' progress. And as a first year teacher, it's very difficult to implement the paperwork and to kind of take that data and know what to do with it. But while at Ashland, practicing, taking assessments, scoring assessments, putting students in groups, that gave me the confidence and the knowledge to be able to do that in my classroom today.
What about technology integration?
Technology integration was something that I learned at Ashland and is very helpful today, and I think is one of the reasons that I was a strong candidate during the interview process. While at Ashland, all of the classrooms are equipped with smart boards and document cameras. Each class that I was in, I was able to use those, I was familiar with them, and because I knew how to use that technology, each time I went into a field, I was able to use that technology with children. One of the experiences I got to do was present at a conference using the smart board. And I know that when I took that information back to an interview, that I was a presenter at a conference and that I was very familiar with the smart board and how to integrate it into the classroom, and knew that that was a very helpful tool for me to use when I became a teacher.
Can you talk about classroom management?
Well, at Ashland, classroom management was a focus from the very first field experience that I took. Classroom management is one of the most difficult things for a first year teacher to be able to implement, and I felt that I was prepared because I was taught multiple strategies. I was able to get into different classrooms. I was able to work with different age groups and practice those strategies and kind of developed what worked best for me. So by the time that I got my first job, I was comfortable with my classroom management and I was able to implement it. I wasn't really worried about, oh, what can I try? Is there something new? I had learned such a variety and I had such a bank that I was able to pull from what I kind of knew to implement into my own classroom with the group of students that I have.
And what advice would you give anyone that is considering being an early childhood educator?
Advice that I would give to somebody wanting to go into early childhood education is do it because you love working with children and you have a passion. You have a passion to being dedicated to them, coming in each day, and you're teaching them concepts that seem very difficult to them, and you have to learn how to break it down and to scaffold and help them develop into that learner. And if you can do that and you come in each day wanting to do that, I think that that's the reason that you should go into early childhood education, because you're teaching them from the beginning. And sometimes you might think, oh, it's just reading or it's just writing, but we have to teach them that foundation, and from that foundation they're going to be able to apply what they've learned, and in the grades ahead they're going to be able to work through that content and they'll have that solid foundation.